कुछ पाने की हो आस आस, कोई अरमा हो जो खास खास आशाएं, हर कोशिश में हो बार बार, करे दरियाओं को आर पार आशाएं, तूफानों को चीर के मंजिलों को छीन ले, आशाएं हिले दिल की, उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की, अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी, नहीं कुछ भी, आशाएं हिले दिल की, उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की, अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी, नहीं कुछ भी।
전화 전주 시든 리얼하게
उड़ जाए लेके खुशी अपने संग तुझको वहाँ, जन्नत से मुलाकात हो, पूरी हो तेरी हर दुआ, आशाएं हिले दिल की, उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की, अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी, नहीं कुछ भी, आशाएं हिले दिल की, उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की, अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी, नहीं कुछ भी।
मीटिंग स्टूडियो नहीं इतना मित्र इतना ही मित्र
Okay, good morning and welcome. सब लोगों को नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल, hello, welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What we are going to do is to mute people, and when required, since there's about 80 people in the room, when required, people can keep unmuting and then using the mics. Right now, we're just muting people for the next 15 minutes. उसके बाद एक सेक्शन है जहाँ पे हम लोग डायलॉग होगा. अभी पहले 10-15 मिनट हम लोग म्यूटेड रहेंगे, ठीक है? सो आप सबका स्वागत. थैंक्स सो मच फॉर कमिंग ऑन अ सैटरडे मॉर्निंग. I know you're here to talk about this session of the paradoxes of the pandemic, and I think one of the biggest paradoxes that have actually been resolved in this lockdown period is the work-life balance का जो paradox हमारे पास होता था, काम और जिंदगी, कि हम उसको अलग-अलग रखते थे, अभी एकदम दोनों एक दूसरे में मिक्स हो गई हैं. और सैटरडे को भी लगता नहीं है कि हम काम कर रहे हैं, कभी संडे को भी काम हो जाता है, and sometimes we can relax on a Monday morning and do our housework and other chores. So welcome to all of you to this session, Paradoxes of the Pandemic. Some basic announcements on the technical aspects. अगर आप लोग ऊपर राइट में अपने स्क्रीन में जाएंगे तो वहाँ पे एक आपको लिखा हुआ दिखेगा गैलरी व्यू. यू कैन चेंज दैट गैलरी व्यू टू स्पीकर व्यू. उससे आपको स्पीकर का पूरा डायरेक्टली फुल फीचर मिल जाएगा. Not to say that I want my face on your screen, but it'll be useful when all the other speakers are also speaking. The second thing is, आप लोगों का वीडियो सारे ऑफ करके रखें. It'll be better. Will be a point where we will ask you to put on the videos. As I said, at the moment, let's keep them off. Also, audios, please mute them. In cases where it hasn't been muted, we'll be having to mute them ourselves in the beginning. फिर उसके बाद जैसा हमने कहा, ये अनवेबिनार है, इसमें सिर्फ एक वन वे स्पीकिंग नहीं होगा. We'll be having all an interactive discussion and all of you will be invited at that time to start also putting in your viewpoints. So these are, I think, more or less. Also, if any of you want to recognize any of us, if you go to the participants list, वहाँ पे हमने अपने नाम में, जैसे मैंने अपने नाम में अर्जुन VL वार्तालीप लिख दिया है. वार्तालीप कोलेशन से हम लोग हैं. तो आप पर्सनल चैट में हमें बता सकते हैं कुछ अगर बताना चाहें, जो VL के लोग हैं वहाँ पे. Okay, so let's start the 2 hours. I think first the introduction to a little bit, like I said, I'm Arjun Shekhar and one of the co-founders of what we call the Vartalip Coalition. The Vartalip Coalition is about 9 months old, but it's been incubated by Community the Youth Collective and Ashoka Innovators for the Public. And we have, हम लोग एक क्रॉस सेक्टोरल कोलैबोरेशन है जो सिविल सोसाइटी से हटके बहुत और सेक्टर से भी लोग हैं यहाँ, एजुकेशन सेक्टर से, गवर्नमेंट से, फिलैंथ्रोपी से, UN agencies and media. So we are kind of a mixed cross sectoral, and the need we felt for this cross sectoral collaboration was very simple. कि सिविल सोसाइटी में सिर्फ करके हम लोग जो हम एम है इस वार्तालीप कोलिशन का, which means we want to leap beyond the normal narrative and ensure that every youth becomes a Jagrik. A Jagrik is meaning somebody who is a Jagruk Nagrik, जो सिर्फ not only involved जो change making में ही involved नहीं है, but also becomes the change and he can be the change or she can be the change. And also we want every space to be nurturing these Jagriks. So that's why we would like to welcome you to our coalition. All of you are welcome to join this coalition as well. But meanwhile, a small taste of what we do and what we talk about today and how we really get into doing every youth a Jagrik. We had a session in this conference on Thursday as well, very well received. Which kind of inaugurated and talked about this more. Today, the paradoxes session that we are talking about. Why paradoxes? Why do we really want to talk about paradoxes? और ये जो section है हम लोग ये citizenship का section है, which we are part of. And citizenships में, why does every active citizen or every Jagrik, why talk about paradoxes? Now that's like an important question for us to talk about, because they anyway we say they're problem solvers. What's the harm? They can keep problem solving. For this, I'll just be asking you to see a situation. So once one of these days, I had put up a Facebook post in which I asked a simple question. For many of the Jagriks who are working in COVID relief right now, that question really resonated. कि मैंने पूछा कि आप लोग अगर जब किसी hungry person को feed करने जा रहे हैं, और क्या अगर वो फीड जो किसको कर रहे हैं वो आपसे ये प्रश्न पूछता है कि आपकी रिलीजन क्या है, तो आप क्या करेंगे? है ना, आप भी सोचने की बात है हम सबके लिए. तो एक इसी पे और इसी मुद्दे को लेके वी पुट इन अ स्मॉल इंटरेक्शन, अ थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट एज वी आर कॉलिंग इट. आपकी स्क्रीन में होगा ये. मैं इसके लिए मेंटीमीटर यूज करूंगा. ये स्क्रीन में से हट गया है, सो एक मेंटीमीटर का एक ऑप्शन है चैट में. जब जगह जाएंगे तो आप मेंटीमीटर, उसके अंदर एक कोड भी होगा, मेंटीमीटर एंड कोड. इफ यू गो इनटू योर चैट एंड ओपन अप द मेंटीमीटर and put in the code, you will see this question there again. The question is here. You're a relief agency in Delhi. आप एक रिलीफ एजेंसी हैं दिल्ली में. आपने एक अर्जेंट कॉल आपको रिसीव किया, उसमें आपके लिए किसी ने मदद मांगी है कि बहुत नंबर हैं लोग जो कोविड लॉकडाउन की वजह से रिमोट जगह में फंसे हुए हैं, राशन वहां पहुंच नहीं पा रहे हैं और दे आर गोइंग हंग्री. व्हाट डू वी डू? एंड द ओनली वॉलंटरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन प्रेजेंट जो वहां पे है वो पुराने और पहले भी उसने ये एसोसिएटेड रहा है कम्युनल मैसेजिंग से. कम्युनल मतलब सांप्रदायिकता के खिलाफ उनकी मैसेजिंग, असांप्रदायिक सांप्रदायिक मैसेजिंग है उसमें वो और उसमें एक्शंस भी उन्होंने ऐसे ही कम्युनल एक्शंस भी करे हैं पास्ट में. Now would you fund them to supply the much needed rations? And remember this is all urgency है, urgent आया हुआ है और आपको आंसर करना है yes, no या uncertain. जल्दी से आप अपने आंसर इसके अंदर डाल देंगे मेंटीमीटर में प्लीज. I'll just wait for 30 seconds but not more. Very quickly, there are 114 people here. I'd like at least 100 answers on that Mentimeter. I hope everybody's been able to get into the code डाल के वहां पे पहुंच गए आप. अक्षित जैन ने डाला है. Mentimeter का कोड क्या है? लिंक में कोड नहीं चाहिए. ओके. Direct link. Okay. You don't need the code, it seems.
No code required.
Okay. So you're a relief agency. You're asked by a communal organization, communal messaging action वाला organization कि आप relief किसी remote area में urgent relief needed है, हमको कुछ funds चाहिए, तो आप उस organization को fund करेंगे कि नहीं? Yes. Yeah, we can just show the Mentimeter. The answers as they're coming.
I couldn't find that.
Find the Mentimeter.
No, I couldn't find the Mentimeter.
आप चैट में जाएंगी, वहां पे menti.com है, वहां पे अक्षित जैन से एक आया हुआ है. चैट में जाना पड़ेगा आपको. You'll have to go to the chat.
I'm doing this with my mobile phone and I don't have that chat.
Nee, if you go to Zoom, it'll be on every mobile phone. There's no problem. There's a chat line at the bottom. That chat line, if you go to in Zoom, there's a chat line. If you just go where participants chat, everything is. तो वहाँ एक chat में आप click करेंगी तो वहाँ Mentimeter आएगा. Okay.
I couldn't find that. My answer is yes.
Okay, let's go with that. I'll take yours in there. Thank you. Preferable if you don't use the mic right now, otherwise there will be a lot of chaos. So 115. Even if you want, you can just write in the chat. I'm presuming chat आपको पता है कहाँ पे है. उसमें भी आप अपना आंसर लिख सकते हैं directly. हम वहीं से भी ले सकते हैं. अगर Mentimeter में नहीं जा पा रहे हैं तो सीधे chat में लिख दें आप. Yes, no. Great. So we have 125 people actually here now. And the question is, if some people are coming in new, that would you fund an organization which has communal messaging and action in the past to do relief work in a remote place जहाँ urgent चाहिए, urgent situation है, क्या आप उनको fund करेंगे कि नहीं? तो आप chat में भी yes no लिख सकते हैं. अगर time नहीं है तो नहीं तो fund में नहीं तो Mentimeter में जाके कर लेंगे. We'll be closing the Mentimeter and this section in another 30 seconds. Okay, so almost wow, about 53 people who are saying yes, lesser number saying no, and uncertain is 14. So it's interesting. Yeah, we can take it off now. So maybe let's say clearly the yes numbers are much higher than the no. And it's interesting that these are the kind of paradoxes या ये विरोधाभास जैसे कहते हैं हिंदी में हमको we are faced with all the time when we are jagriks or citizens trying to work in the ground. Because yeah, it is as important that communal forces are empowered as it is that hungry people who need relief can be given that kind of relief. दोनों बहुत important चीजें हैं. But this is the thing with paradoxes. Paradoxes are holding both sides as they are good. That ये भी needed है, ये भी needed है. जैसे climate है और climate status quo है या climate जैसा है वैसा रहे और हमें consumption, healthy consumption के option मिलते रहें, ये भी एक paradox हो गया कि हम कैसे दोनों चीजों को handle करें. How do we handle both ends of the stick? This is what a paradox always is about. The interesting thing out this is that our minds and why we don't like paradoxes, because problems तो easy हैं, linear है, root cause ढूंढो, आगे बढ़ो, करते रहो, जो कहीं अगर conflict नहीं आ रहा है, no problem. And usually what happens with such problem solving scenarios is that, like for example, COVID के लिए vaccine ढूंढना है, कोई problem नहीं है, ढूंढिए, अब अपने आप को बंद कीजिए लैब में और ढूंढते रहिए, सालों साल कोई problem नहीं है, there's no problem there. But the problems come in when we come to the reality, where the reality is kind of a nuanced reality, but we refuse to take in the dual story that is coming in. हम typically वो single story पे काफी अपने आप को उसमें फंसे रहते हैं, घुस जाते हैं, और वो single story के लिए, क्योंकि हमारा mind would like to have this either black or white, yes or no. We don't want to look at like the grays escape us, especially when there is something urgent to happen. और इस केस में काफी urgent scenario था, इसीलिए काफी लोगों ने decide किया कि communal जाए भाड़ में, कम से कम उनको food तो पहुंचाना है, कोई बात नहीं. और किन्हीं लोगों ने कहा नहीं, communal is more important than food to me, so I will not allow. So religious tolerance and hunger relief, hunger alleviation, दोनों को कैसे साथ लेके चलें, ये हमारा दिमाग चलता नहीं है, क्योंकि जब अर्जेंट सिनेरियोज होते हैं तो हमको येस और नो चाहिए. बहुत कम लोगों ने अनसर्टन किया यहाँ पे, और वो अनसर्टनिटी को मैं और थोड़ा सा रखना चाहूंगा आप लोगों के पास, कि ये अनसर्टनिटी को हम कभी कभी अंडर कॉन्फिडेंस लेके उसके ऊपर ध्यान नहीं देते हैं. वी डोंट गिव इट दैट मच ऑफ इम्पोर्टेंस, बट एक्चुअली दिस श्योरनेस समटाइम्स इज व्हाट इज कमिंग इन द वे रादर देन द डाउट. देयर इज नो हार्म विद हैविंग डाउट, also with decisiveness. Decisive, but with doubt, because you can't be sure that you're going to be right every time. And that came up, if you remember, in our early days of when this COVID problem came up. All of us, including the government and everywhere around the world, there was such a halla that all of us decided, okay, let's go with lives. Lives is the most important thing in this world. So we went with lives. We had the most stringent lockdown, almost, or the second most stringent lockdown in the world. And at a very early stage, we had that lockdown for a very long time. And what we then, within a week, the rest of the story started emerging. But during that time, we didn't think of that story. When it started emerging was when those photos of the migrants in droves all over the big cities coming up in either, walking on the streets, etc., etc. I won't even go into that, how much pain that caused all of us. And then that story began to emerge. तो ये हमको जब पता है कि इस lives के अंदर livelihoods कहीं पे अंदर already वो story में nestled है, the other story is nestled within the larger story, but we forget and we decide to do, yes, communal organization को देना है पैसा, no, नहीं देना है. But this doubt, uncertainty is where we need to also believe that we need to talk about. So this is one of our big paradoxes for today, lives and livelihoods. दोनों को साथ लेके हम लोग all the time together कैसे ले जा सकते हैं. मैं इसको कहता हूँ एक zebra truth है. ये zebra truth मतलब zebra knows what's right, कि black भी है, white भी है, दोनों चलेगा भाई, दोनों को चलाना है. इसमें कोई grey भी sometimes नहीं होता, क्योंकि decisively आपको दोनों तरफ से लेना पड़ता है. So it's like a zebra truth we need to go with. Now, the second paradox that we'll talk about, so India, we talked about the US decided not to give the lives such a big importance and gave livelihoods the more important. And there the story emerged about many lives being taken and the lives being lost. And democratic rights versus public health. So, and then there was Sweden in the middle. Sweden decided कि हम एजेंसी भी देंगे लोगों को, और एजेंसी देते भी पब्लिक हेल्थ भी देखी जाएगी. तो राइट्स भी हैं, but we'll give them a warning and they'll look after themselves and look after the public health as well, self as well as public. And they left it at that. In that leaving also, of course, lives have been lost, but also the economy has continued and they managed to have a decent this thing between democratic rights and public health. That's our second room. A third room is, of course, the mother of all paradoxes. और ये है कैसे ये narratives और reality, how we need to take both today, narratives and reality. So many stories coming at us all the time. For example, did you know 2009 में हमको swine flu हुआ. Swine flu जब आया उसकी mortality rate 4.5% है, जबकि COVID-19 की maximum अभी 1.8-2% कह सकते हैं आप at a pinch. वहाँ 57 million people were affected. आज यहाँ पे 4.5 million people are affected. That's become endemic. मतलब आता रहता है, बार बार आएगा वो स्वाइन फ्लू, हर साल आता है. और इस बार यहाँ पे भी ये भी लोग कह रहे हैं, और WHO health president has said that this is also going to probably stay with us. But why has this become such a big thing than swine flu, bigger than swine flu? Well, just consider this. In 2009, in WhatsApp, there was no WhatsApp. There were only 150 million Facebook accounts. Now in 2020, we have 2.2 billion WhatsApp and 1.7 billion on Facebook only. Forget all the other social media new handles that have come up. So how we're consuming news has tectonically shifted. And in fact, the eternal fight is no more between good and evil. It's probably between words and experience. And now I'd like to therefore move on to this third, is the narratives versus reality. I'll introduce the rooms. I've introduced the hosts now. And you'll break up into these rooms, which are called fishbowl dialogue rooms. And they'll explain when you get there. I have, and I'd love to have all of you put on your videos if you can, please. I'd like to introduce the Lives and Livelihoods room. Will be looked out by Avinash, who heads Amnesty International right now, has been part of Oxfam, has been part of WaterAid, and Piyush, who runs Optimist Citizen, is a optimistic newspaper talking about good news and coming out of Bhopal. We have in the public health and democratic rights, we have Shankar Venkateshwaran, who's I think well known across the social sector and other sectors. At one time was in America India Foundation, headed that, but also is now on many chairs, many boards, including Oxfam and many other boards in the social sector. He's going to be assisted and be co-hosted by Kanika. Kanika Sinha is the CEO, is the convener of Community Youth Collective, and one of the founder members of the Vartalip. By the way, all of them here are Vartalip coalition members that we are presenting to you, who are co-hosts with me. The narrative versus reality room is going to be co-hosted with Shohini. Shohini is a person who's been now heading Breakthrough. Is again one of the iconic organizations, and she's a very iconic person herself. So Shohini Bhattacharya works in gender, and the other person with her is Kejal, very iconic young leader who runs and is running an organization called Blue Ribbon Movement in Mumbai, and she's going to be together with these guys. So I'm going to stop here and visit, and we'll all be back together in a plenary in an hour. What you have to do as you go into the rooms is that you are a committee which has been selected to advise the chief ministers of the one state on how you can live the whole in the paradox of lives and livelihoods, democratic rights and public health, and narratives and reality. How you can live the whole, and suggestions for the youth in that state as well. And it'll be further explained as you go to the rooms. So Akshat, take it away. You'll be put into rooms randomly because we've not been able to select. People haven't selected their paradoxes, so bear with us. You'll be put into the different rooms randomly. And there are about 140 people here, so let's have some fun.
जो गवर्नमेंट जिन सॉल्यूशंस को हमको रिकमेंड करना है, तो अभी तक मेरी जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कि हम जितने भी सॉल्यूशन गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से हो रहे हैं या अलग अलग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की तरफ से हो रहे हैं, वो काफी टेक्निकल है कि जो कम समय में जो सॉल्यूशन की हमें जरूरत है हमने उसको टेक्निकली कर लिया, लेकिन एडाप्टिव सॉल्यूशंस हमारे पास में नहीं है. तो बस मुझे लगता है ये अभी मेरे दिमाग में ये चीजें आ रही थी.
जी समर्थ, आपने हाथ उठाया था. If you would like to share.
I totally agree with the first three speakers. Last जो sir ने बोला about the adaptive solutions and all, I would love to if sir could give an explanation as to some examples which would elaborate more on the opinion that he is looking for. जैसे मतलब कौन से solutions है जो उनके हिसाब से लेने चाहिए थे पर नहीं लिए गए, जो कि ज़्यादा मास को help करते हैं.
Okay, right. so we'll also come back to that conversation, Samarth, है ना, to build something together. So you could also just listen in and contribute there. So Damini, if I can ask you to share.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so according to me, I think the paradox can be addressed.
A little louder, Sodamini, if you can.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Am I better?
Yes.
Okay, according to me, and this might be a very naive notion, but I think the paradox can be addressed by addressing the falsity of choice. And the sort of narrative that we create about choice, that there is a need to create a dichotomy between individual and collective choices. And I think within this notion of having to make a choice is this entitlement of a particular majority, of a particular privileged class, caste. Therefore, even the notion of a lockdown being looked upon as a lockdown and not incarceration for the entire migrant community, or for not looking at domestic workers and the unorganized sector as part of the people who will move. So what I'm saying is that the lens you create for a choice is what we definitely need to pay more attention to whilst we look at what the paradox is. Sorry, I don't know if I made sense.
No, I think if I may, sorry, Kanika, why don't you expand on this in the context of this topic?
So that is what I'm saying. Like in fact, what we consider right now public health, who is the public we are servicing the most right now? What is the lens we are using? What are the narratives we are choosing to play out to? Who are we pandering to in this pandemic? So that is what I'm saying. The lens that we create to look at the paradox and the choices that we put ourselves and say, oh, but these are the only choices we have to play with.
Right. Shankar, did you want to? I think we could. So thanks a lot, Sir Damini. I think that's an important point you're making in terms of the lens. And again, perhaps when we're so these are sort of, I'm passing these also because as we go along to build something constructive together, these will be important elements to consider. Shankar, I'm wondering if you know, we can take this conversation a little further and maybe, you know, talk a little more specifically about some of the sort of dilemmas and paradoxes within this.
जी, I think जो सोडामिनी ने कहा वो एक अच्छी शुरुआत है कि इसको थोड़ा आगे ले जाने का और थोड़ा और granularity में और थोड़ा details में ले जाने के लिए.
Shankar, can you be a bit loud, please?
Okay, is that better?
Yes, slightly better.
Okay. तो मैं ये कह रहा था कि थोड़ा और अगर डिटेल में जाए, क्योंकि जनरलिटीज में हमने अभी तक बात किया, अभी और स्पेसिफिक्स में अगर जाए तो देखते हैं कैसे इसको आगे लिया जाए. जैसे अगर मैं आपसे ये सवाल आपके सामने रखूं कि ये जो बात जो कही है लॉकडाउन का, now there are the Swedish example is a classic one. They put the guidelines and said everybody do whatever they have to do, and we did it in a different way. Now the question to make this more specific in terms of this our context is, suppose the decision on whether we should lock down or not, the way it was taken, it was, the logic is कि इसको consultative decision नहीं कर सकते हैं, इसको हम ये नहीं छोड़ सकते सबके ऊपर कि आप अपनी तरफ से ये सोच के करिए कि कैसे करना है. That in a sense is, one could argue, is a democratic way of doing it. But because of the emergency or because of the seriousness of the situation, the government took a view that इसको हम consultation नहीं कर सकते हैं, हम ये crisis है, अभी का crisis है, we need to act decisively, so we must just come and put a lockdown. That is an example of how this paradox plays out. So I was just wondering, now a specific example like this, how would you think we need to resolve, or how do we need to think about this particular, paradox? So if I may just ask Sanjay Soni, right, who has your hand up, and I'm inviting others to also put their hands up so that you can be part of this discussion. So Sanjay, what is your view on the specificity of this consultative process of lockdown versus saying it's a diktat?
On the face of it, what you are saying is absolutely right. But as citizens, concerned citizens, we have to be naturally and always be very wary of our governments. So they will, are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So health is one very immediate thing, but the governments are likely to use this as a pretext to take away our very hard-won democratic rights, and especially rights in the sphere of privacy, the use of this Arogya Setu apps and all that. So what can happen is rights that we have won over hundreds of years can be just taken away in a month or two. So that is really worrying to me. So wars have been fought for democratic rights. Lakhs of people have died just for this freedom. And these are not very small things. People will come, people will die, 10,000 people die, whatever might happen. That can happen never otherwise. But this is a pretext being used to justify. Absolutely sensible people are just justifying whatever has been done on this public health issue. But this is much beyond that, and democratic rights are more important, at least as important as any of this current health issue. That's what I want to say.
Okay, thank you. मैं अभी किसी और को निमंत्रण करता हूँ कि इसमें कुछ comments. मेरे ख्याल में we've gone through everyone who put their hands up.
I think Hema.
Hi, I'm Nikhil. I want to add something if I can.
Yeah. So Nikhil, just to again get onto the specifics about what Sanjay expressed, that we cannot compromise democratic rights. But I was just wondering whether you could also give your thoughts on the specific case. So what should have been done if the unilateral lockdown is not democratic? What was the alternative? Maybe if you could think about and give us some ideas on that.
So you want to focus just about this lockdown, or you want to say like on the health and overall the paradox related with it?
Whatever works for you. That's the larger discussion, but we just thought it would be useful to get into more specifics. So, but whatever works for you is fine.
So for me, I think the biggest paradox is it is supposed to do good, but it is accused of doing harm. In fact, like people are blaming the government. There are migrant workers who are walking miles. So I think it's the very nature of how we designed our constitution. So in constitutions, our rights, we are defined by our rights, like rights to education, right to liberty, right to life, but we don't have right to health. And I think this is if we don't have right to health, so I think we are denied of this very, हम लोग इस opportunity से छूटे हुए हैं. And इस कारण से अभी ऐसा है कि say for example the court ordered कि सब कुछ free होगा at the start, like PPE kits, the COVID treatment and masks and sanitizer, but ultimately वो फिर individual पे आ गया कि आप खुद से करो. Then now private hospitals are also operating. So where is the public health? And अभी जो पूरा जो system आ रहा है, there is a lot of health going in terms of say like 1,000 रुपए कामगार को मिलेंगे, 2,000 रुपए इनको मिलेंगे. What is the investment government is doing? Because we don't have the basic infrastructures to deal with it. And I think for me कि शायद कोई बहुत बड़ा कुछ हो नहीं सकता क्योंकि आपके पास basic structures नहीं है. The PSC and the CSC don't have doctors, and they don't have PPE kits. So it's just very massive. And the overall health budget of India is equal to the amount of INS Vikramaditya, $2 billion for the 3 year, the GDP, the income of it. तो अभी कुछ तुरंत में तो नहीं हो सकता, but I think कि after this lockdown or in the recovery phase. As a policy space में हमको करना चाहिए कि education or health को completely it has to be a public thing, not a private thing. और यूनिफॉर्म स्टैंडर्ड बनाना चाहिए. इंडियन पब्लिक हेल्थ स्टैंडर्ड तो है, बट इट्स नॉट वेरी फंक्शनल, नॉट वेरी गुड. आई थिंक दिस इज माय सॉर्ट ऑफ ओपिनियन ऑन दैट.
Hema, would you like to comment at this point?
Can I also add? Yeah.
Let Hema finish and then we can come back. Hema, you're on mute.
Thanks for giving me this opportunity. I would like to share few of my whatever thoughts I'm having right now. On 24th of March, all on a sudden, when there was the band was declared by the government, it was like it's in a situation where you cannot blame anyone, but the way the government is trying to handle the situation is not very pro people, in the sense like I'm going to give the example of our contacts. Ours is a place where there are so many people who are like who has migrated to the metropolitan cities for the work, especially the youths and all. When you see their situation, the way they are like facing problems, and the way the whole the pandemic has brought chaos to the marginalized people, especially when we talk about the public health. We know that whatever is done, whatever the thing is done by the government is for the well-being of all, but it is said only, it's not done. As see, in the hospital, the government hospitals and all, like what we have seen, what we have noticed, there is no PPE kits, there is no proper testing center, there is no equipments for the health workers, the frontline workers and all. And for the public, like there is no that adequate things which we can to handle the the COVID-19, the crisis situation what we are facing right now. And like government, they are saying that they are like whenever when there are many stranded young people in our place, and as well as in the different places, when we try to contact the government, when we inform about these things to the government, the people are having such situation right now, they are having this kind of situation, then like the kind of response they give, the kind of response the government give, it is not at all satisfactory. Somewhere, like I would like to say that somewhere we need to come together. We haven't come together. Voluntary organizations, the civil societies, the government, still we haven't come together. We are all working in isolation, and which is creating really a chaos. If we can come together, if we really can address without thinking that it is by the voluntary organization, by the government, by the differentiating of ourselves in this situation, somewhere we need to come together and address the situation. And that is the thing which is with me right now. I would like to share about this.
Thank you. So I think what we should now start doing is to move
Can
towards...
I just add one more thing?
Yeah. Yeah, very quickly, Meenakshi.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Meenakshi. I just want to, of course, agreeing to whatever everyone was saying, that yes, it should have been a consultative process, etc., etc. It didn't happen because of an emergency. But I think it's also how the information was given. You know, if the leadership would have been inspiring enough to kind of give the information, if the information was disseminated in a very inspirational tone, where people would have chosen the lockdown rather than, you know, just taking it, and they would have felt that, you know, they had the agency. And I think it was this situation could have been used to kind of create a feeling of national compassion. Right now, everyone is locked down, and I don't see a lot of people I mean, all the people who are out there for relief work are basically NGO workers or volunteers. Not a lot of, people in my society, etc. They're really not concerned. I think just the way this whole conversation about the national tragedy could have come from the leadership, I think that would have really changed the mood of it. Also,
so I just want us to move on. If you
anxieties that are developed and are so heightened, the Islamophobia we've seen, the racism. I just heard Alana Golme from the Northeastern Health Center talking about the number of cases where people have just been picked up and taken into quarantine without being symptomatic, without being asymptomatic, without having any sort of travel history, just because they look like they're from the Northeast. And the third thing I would like to say is that any policy and advocacy that comes out of the pandemic cannot be Delhi-centered and
We've lost you there, Saudamni.
So I guess let's wait for her. और किसी को इसमें जोड़ना है? In a sense, what I'm hearing.
So Neeru had also raised her hand up.
Ji, Neeru, Saudamni, we lost you. So can you just quickly?
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
So you made 2 points that we captured.
Sorry, my third point.
Just make your third point very quickly, then we will move on.
My third point was that any policy and advocacy that comes out of this cannot be Delhi-centered. We cannot only have a Delhi myopic vision to policy that comes out, which what tends to happen, where we ignore the Northeast, we ignore all the other tribal class problems that come out of this.
Okay, thank you. कौन नीरू आप कह रहे थे? Who's Kanika? Did I miss?
Asked us, I think said Neeru. Neeru, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, Shankar, hi, can you hear me? Either the side, I'm not turning my video on, but my connection's really bad.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I just wanted to add that, in terms of whatever said till now, I do agree that the process obviously need to have been more inclusive and more thought through. And I think also in terms of who are the people who we are sort of consulting before, advocating for certain things. So in terms of, was there enough, say, scientific data that was taken into consideration, before announcing a decision? From what we've been hearing was that the lockdown, this was also important because our health structure, sort of had to prepare itself to deal, to be at a level where it could deal with the kind of inflow that would come in. But I think my question would also be that why, in terms of the budgetary, allocation that we've made into health till now, why did we wait for to reach the situation to be able to give that also the priority sort of in terms of how the medical staff also feel like they have to say the cuts, etc., being advocated for them, and then the reactions coming that that's not okay. So I think what that makes me as a citizen, it makes me feel like the priorities are a little off the mark, and one is not being therefore completely transparent in what is being advocated for as well. So I think that also is a thing that makes one very cautious, say that is really public health the priority as well, and then within that, people who are sort of working towards public health, are their democratic rights also being sort of put on the table as well or not?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it ties into a point that was made earlier about what is public and rights, democratic rights, and so on. And I think the point that you're you're suggesting is that the advice that we should be giving the Chief Minister is to now that we haven't done it so far, from this point onwards, let's start investing more in public goods and public health specifically, but also public education, right? So I think that's the link to the earlier part of the discussion that I can hear you. Any others? Anyone else wants to come in?
There are some points people have also made on chat, which we could look at, or we could also ask Ishani. You've made a couple of points on the Padlet and chat, and maybe you'd like to, not everyone can read. So if you'd like to come in, Ishani. Ishani, okay, maybe you, okay, her connection is very weak. Vijay भाई, आपने भी chat पे कुछ comments डाले थे. So it might be nice if you want to make your point here.
Hello.
जी विजय भाई.
क्योंकि पब्लिक हेल्थ को हमेशा निग्लेक्ट किया गया है. It has not been a part of the mainstream dialogue also, and the budgetary allocation is also very limited. So in the situation where we are now, government is forcing us to follow certain things, and without taking people into confidence in many ways. If you look at the whole thing, the first lockdown was okay. They never invited civil society to be part of this processes. They consulted only a few of them. Even if you look at the Darpan portal, there are 19,000 NGOs are there. There is no proper consultation among them. There is a lot of what you call frustration among the NGOs also. They are not playing the role in this whole process.
Okay.
Even I would like to add something. Yes, I would like to add something. When you see the contacts of Delhi, maybe it is little well organized, but when you see the contacts of Northeast as a whole and Assam in particular, in Assam, Guwahati is little bit there is some kind of an required things which is to combat this dreaded disease. But when you go to the other parts of Northeast, like the little interior places, the public health system, the public health is not at all working. So, there is a lot of care, there is a lot of tension among the people. Like people are in chaos. If there will be the people from other parts, if they come inside, the youth who are stranded, if they reach back anything, so government has to address this also in a very little organized way. And so that is an apprehension among the people right now over in this area. Thank you so much.
Right. Okay, so we have, I think, a fair number of points. Kanika, should we go to anyone else or should we just move on to the next part? Yash, I think Yash had a point to make. So should we just listen to Yash and then move, Kanika? Is that okay?
Sure.
Time-wise?
Hello to all. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Actually, my point is if government अगर कुछ कर रही है, अगर अच्छा कर भी रही है या फिर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कुछ अच्छा कर रही है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कुछ अच्छा कर रही है, हमने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले बात करी थी कि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को ज्यादा पावर मिलना चाहिए जितना कि अभी कंपैरेटिवली मिला हुआ है, तो कि वो ज्यादा अच्छे से अपने स्टेट्स के अकॉर्डिंग उसको अपने तरीके से इम्प्लीमेंट करे और ज्यादा बेहतर परफॉर्म कर सके जितना जैसा अभी हो रहा है. सो इसमें हमने ये चीज भी बहुत चीज देखने को मिल रही है. अगर स्पेसिफिकली बंगाल या फिर ऐसा स्टेट को बोलूं तो ये कई सारे स्टेट्स ऐसे भी कर रहे हैं जो भी फायदा उठा रहे हैं कि अगर वो उनके अकॉर्डिंग वो चीज अगर सही हो रही है तो दे आर टेकिंग क्रेडिट ऑफ दैट, और अगर वो चीज नहीं हो रही है तो वो प्रॉब्लम सेंटर की है. और सेंटर भी कई बार इस चीज का फायदा उठा रहे हैं कि अगर वो उसका कोई प्लान अगर सक्सेसफुल नहीं रह रहा है तो वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को ब्लेम कर रहा है कि दैट दे आर नॉट डूइंग इट इन माय वे। सो इस चीज में मतलब ऐसे पैंडेमिक के टाइम में ये चीज गलत हो रही है कि किसी चीज को वो किसी एक्शन को वो इतनी महामारी को फैलने से अगर रोक रहे हैं तो उनको दोनों को साथ में दोनों को कोलैबोरेटिव एफर्ट लगाना चाहिए। और ये गलत बात है कि यहाँ ब्लेम गेम होता है बहुत ज्यादा। तो ये मेरा पॉइंट था और थैंक यू।
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Yash.
Anika, should I hand it back to you?
Yeah,
I think we've got a fair number of points to work with. So
Yes, yeah. So what we'll, as we started off saying, the whole idea here is कि ये paradoxes conflict में हैं लगातार और हम जूझते हैं, वो तो that's a given. What we're trying here to actually take a step back and say ये दोनों को कैसे साथ में रखें, क्योंकि दोनों हमें चाहिए। तो आप लोगों से जो इस समय constructive suggestions आए हैं, and some hints in that direction, we are just also putting it together to see if we were to look at a guideline, what would that guideline look like. तो उसको हम end में Shankar, maybe we can quickly run through those points towards the end of this small group discussion. So this was, as we said, guidelines for the state कि अगर हमें किसी CM को या state को government को suggestions देने हो तो क्या होते। उसी तरह से क्योंकि हम यहाँ पे जो बहुत सारे लोग एक्चुअली यहाँ पे युवा हैं या फिर और जहाँ तक मुझे समझ आ रहा है या तो युवा हैं या युवाओं के साथ काम करते हैं, यूथ एंगेजिंग, यूथ फैसिलिटेटर्स, मेंटर्स, कई सारे जिनको मैं पहचान पा रही हूँ, and I'm sure even otherwise an interest in young people. And so the question here now, if we were to make another set of guidelines, कि हम युवाओं से क्या चाहते हैं as active citizens, what should young people do to hold the whole? What is it in, say, the rights and duties framework, if we want to talk about, या फिर just specifically ideas for क्या है जो कि युवाओं को क्या करना चाहिए इस समय पे। पढ़ाई है, पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दें, आप करियर पे फोकस करें, जो आपको इंस्ट्रक्शन मिल रहे हैं उसको फॉलो करें, जो बाहर दुनिया में हो रहा है उससे कैसे जूझें, या जूझना भी चाहिए या नहीं, आपकी जिम्मेदारी कहाँ बैठती है, what is the thin line as a young person you should walk. And there are lots of young people in this room, so I would really invite you all also to raise your hand. So similarly, it would be great if there is a raise of hands, because that makes it easy to navigate the conversation. लेकिन किसी वजह से अगर वो I think मुश्किल हो रही है, I think we've also been very it's been a great group in terms of being very respectful of hearing each other and listening patiently. So I think we're going okay. अगर hand raise करना मुश्किल हो रहा है, it's just that it gives us a little bit of a prompt to invite you, because we know you have something to say. So that would be very useful. So I'm just repeating the question एक बारी कि as a young person or as a person interested in young people, आप युवाओं के लिए क्या गाइडलाइंस बनाना चाहेंगे या एक सुझाव बनाना चाहेंगे जिससे कि युवा इस पैराडॉक्स को होल्ड कर सके, बोथ टुगेदर, पब्लिक हेल्थ एंड डेमोक्रेटिक राइट्स। Yash, I can see you raising your hand. Luckily मैं स्क्रीन पे करेक्ट टाइम पे आ गई आपके, नहीं तो मुझे पता नहीं चलता। तो वो हैंड रेज, हाँ, गो अहेड प्लीज।
थैंक यू कनिका। एक्चुअली मेरा पॉइंट यूथ को जो मतलब प्रॉपर अभी इस टाइम पे क्या करना चाहिए उसको लेकर के ये है कि अभी हम अगर सोशली देखें तो केरला बहुत अच्छा एग्जांपल है, जिसमें कि मतलब बहुत सारी ऐसी छोटी यूथ कम्युनिटीज बनाई हैं जिसमें कि उसने मतलब ये गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से है और उन लोगों के का ग्रुप्स बनाया है जो कि वहां पर किसी भी मतलब सोशल वर्क से पहले बिलोंग नहीं करते थे, या फिर वो किसी गवर्नमेंट एक्टिविटी से बिलोंग नहीं करते थे, या फिर किसी मतलब गवर्नमेंट वर्कर नहीं थे। तो वो उन लोग का भी वहाँ लोकल्स का वैसा एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया के लिए ग्रुप बनाया जो कि वहाँ पर इफेक्टिवली काम कर रहा है। गवर्नमेंट की जो वहाँ पर रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन है या फिर गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा जो चीज सामान वहाँ पे दिए जा रहे हैं लोगों को, या फिर जो लोग बाहर से आए हुए उनको क्वारंटाइन कर रहे हैं, तो उन लोगों को वो वहाँ के लोकल्स की टीम वॉलंटियर कर रही है। तो वो एक बहुत अच्छा पार्ट था जो कि मतलब यंग लोगों के लिए एक मॉडल बना है वहाँ पर। और ये ऐसे ही सिमिलर चीज हम लोग और केरला का हम केस देख रहे हैं, मतलब वो मतलब बहुत अच्छा मॉडल है कि मतलब वो हर जगह बहुत बेहतर कर रहे हैं इन पूरे कंपेयर टू अदर स्टेट्स। तो ये यूथ हम लोग कर सकते हैं।
राइट, थैंक यू यश। प्रियंका और फिर नीरू और फिर सिद्धार्थ। मैं अभी इस ऑर्डर में इफ आई कैन सी सम हैंड। सिद्धार्थ ने पहले शायद हाथ रेज किया हुआ था, मैंने मिस किया होगा। प्रियंका।
Yeah, hi. I sometimes think that there are various spaces that young people hold, and in today's situation, there is this whole online space and there is this on-ground space, which is like direct volunteering, going out in the community, being more responsive to community. But I also think there is this entire online space where there is a lot of conversation happening and a lot of solidarity being shown. There's a lot of mobilization happening online, and young people today are very, very savvy in the online space. So I definitely think that there is a lot of constructive things that can happen as youth facilitators if we can get people together online and create a lot of energy around response, around the way information is being disseminated, in the way we are reaching out to communities, in the way we are using different kinds of mediums, whether it is a community radio, whether it is an IVR system, whether it's just simple information generation. So I think, on ground, a lot of people are doing volunteering, but I think online volunteering is also equally important, and there are different ways in which we can do it today. So just wanted to place that.
Okay, so you're saying young people have a role as volunteers, and Yash gave us an example of some sort of community action. You're saying here also in the online space, there is a role for them as volunteers.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Thanks. Neeru, you had a point to make.
Yeah, thanks, Kanika. So I feel like one of the thing, I mean, apart from, doing the relief work and just in terms of Priyanka mentioned, I think those are, I won't repeat those, but I think one of the point I wanted to mention was, I think young people can also play a huge part in asking the tough questions or asking the right questions, because I think that we're also seeing in this scenario there is a need to also focus on accountability, because we are in the middle of the crisis. That doesn't mean that anything that goes on can is not necessarily the right way to go about things. So I think also youth taking on the role of asking the right questions, asking for accountability, and that's a role that they can also play. And I think also going back to the first discussion that we had, I think also staying with the uncertainty as well, that the situation is sort of bringing up, and also staying with those questions, that the paradoxes that are coming in as well, and asking the questions to be able to also frame our narratives, which are not completely like black and white, this is right and this is wrong, but also sort of going beyond that and questioning the narratives that are coming to them. And I think that in the current scenario, like what Priyanka mentioned, when we are flooded with information, it becomes extremely important for us to not just believe what's coming to us, but also question it and to develop that skill. And I think that's a very important role that the youth can play currently. Yeah.
Right. Thanks. Thanks, Neelu. Siddharth, would you? Sorry, did I miss? Yeah, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
I feel that युवाओं को, यूथ को ये क्वेश्चन करना चाहिए कि इतनी माइक्रो लेवल की ये जो वायरस है, सो माइक्रो लेवल वायरस, how it is just easily affecting us. I mean, how it's इतनी आसानी से कैसे इस वायरस ने हमें घर में बंद करके रखा है, और क्यों ऐसा है, और क्यों इतनी छोटी सी चीज हमें अफेक्ट कर रही है. तो to have a dialogue on that and just wondering why, and then this can be turned out to something public health and democratic rights. But first, I feel to question it,
Right,
that where are we going?
right. And I think thanks, Siddharth. So one is questioning. I'm also just hearing because I feel there's a little bit of a connection. Nikhil, you're making a couple of important points, and I'm wondering if I can invite you to share, after which Sanchi can also, share her points. Nikhil, just because everyone cannot always see the typing. So I know Rufeda has also made some points if she'd like to come in, but I'll invite Nikhil first, and then Sanchi and Rufeda if you'd like to also make a point.
So I have written about it in the comment section. I just want to say, like, government has come with a lot of social protection measures for different kind of a group. For children, there are some steps. For elderly, there are some steps. For poor people, there are some steps. But there is no any youth specific social protection measures taken by the government. And there is no one kind of youth. There are migrants, there are refugees, there are HIV/AIDS, there are indigenous youths living in tribal pockets. So they are in a lot of problem, but the government is not having any particular social protection measures taken specifically, designing specifically in while taking youths in mind. Apart from that, there is also onus on youth, like because we know like COVID-19 has a little less impact than internally, so they need to follow the social distancing and other community action as prescribed by WHO and the various government. So this
Right.
all from my comments.
Right. Thanks, Nikhil. Yeah, I think that's also an important direction. So again, when we are thinking about holding the whole, public responsibilities or guidelines for youth to act within the ambit of public health, as well as democratic rights. And I think we heard quite a bit around democratic rights. So there's more that we also have in terms of how do we hold both, so public health as well. So thanks, Nikhil, for making that point. Sanchi, thanks for patiently waiting.
हाँ, तो मेरा जो पॉइंट है शायद वो डेमोक्रेटिक राइट और हेल्थ से डायरेक्टली जुड़ा हुआ नहीं है, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि इस समय युवा का एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल बन रहा है कि एल्डर्स को अपने साथ लेके कैसे चले और उनके साथ एक नया तालमेल किस किस तरीके से बिठा सके. फॉर एग्जांपल एटलीस्ट मेरे परिवार में कि मम्मी को या पापा को वीडियो कॉल से रूबरू कराना है ना, या फिर मतलब वो नेटफ्लिक्स पे पुराने मूवी अपनी देख सकते हैं फ्री, तो इस और अपनी चॉइस की, क्योंकि उनकी तो ये समझती कि जो ZTV पे आएगी वही वो देख सकते हैं, तो वो नया उनको वो एहसास दिलाना तो एक ये, और फिर ऐसे उसी के साथ साथ उनकी जो क्या बोलते हैं मनचाही प्रैक्टिसेस हैं या उनके जो शौक है उनसे रूबरू होना, जैसे मम्मी के साथ अचार बनाना हुआ, या वो जब कॉलेज जाती थी तो उनको एनीवेज बाहर जाना अलाउड नहीं था, तो वो क्या करती थी पूरे दिन घर में, तो उनके साथ वो चीजों का फिर से मजा लेना. एंड उसके साथ साथ जो आसपास के एल्डर्स हैं जिनके घरों में यूथ नहीं है, उनकी हम क्या मदद कर सकते हैं सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग रखते हुए. और वो हम देख भी रहे हैं कि कैसे सोशल मीडिया पे कि कितने सारे ऐसे परिवार जो एल्डर्स अकेले रह रहे हैं, उन तक खाना पहुंचाने की बात हुई, उनकी मेडिसिन या उनके और जो नेसेसरी चीजें हैं उनकी जरूरत की बिकॉज ऑफ द हेल्थ उनको पहुंचाना. तो मुझे लगता है कि एल्डर्स के साथ एक नया तालमेल, नए दोस्ती की बहुत सुंदर आई थिंक हमको ये मौका मिला है जो हम एक जिम्मेदार रूप से निभा सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल.
एक और पॉइंट है, सॉरी निखिल बोला, सॉरी अभी जब कोविड-19 आया तो जो वायलेंस अगेंस्ट वुमेन है, स्पेसिफिकली एडोलेसेंट गर्ल्स के साथ, जो क्योंकि घर में द परपेट्रेटर्स एंड लाइक मोस्ट ऑफ द क्राइम व्हिच टुक प्लेस इज इन होम. सो जो एडोलेसेंट गर्ल्स के साथ जो वुमेन हेल्पलाइन पे जो केसेस हैं, तो वो लाइक 20 टाइम्स शूट अप किए. So why don't we have like a small WhatsApp group among people living in slums pocket, jahan pe, because there's a lot of digital penetration in internet penetration happening in even in Delhi and in other urban areas. So we can have like small WhatsApp group where we can send like life skill modules, and we can send important conversation, important helpline numbers. We can have like psychologists, because people are inside home. Abhi chote se ghar mein girls are going to school, having like fun time, but now for 24/7 they are into small दो कमरे के घर में लोग बंद हैं. And everybody like an adolescent space, you need space, your own space. So वो सब चीजों को लेकर यूथ के साथ काम है. Specifically the most vulnerable section is even RMNCH प्लस एक गाइडलाइन भी यही बोलता है. So adolescents को लेके पता नहीं COVID-19 में कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है. But even overall और health perspective में देखोगे तो RMNCH plus से adolescent is the key link. So we need to work on that. I think that's my point.
Thanks, Nikhil. We'll have to start wrapping up soon. I know Yash has spoken, but he has a point to make and he's not been able to type it yet. So Yash, maybe you and Meenakshi, I know you have your hand up. Samarth, you have your hand up. So maybe these are the last three people. Rufeda, again, I'm just asking in case you wanted to share something. So we start with Yash. So if everyone can be a little bit concise, so that we'll get kicked out of this room at 12:30 without being able to close our points. So just,
thank you, Kanika. Actually, my point was a bit lengthy, so I was taking more time. अभी बोल देता हूँ. Actually, मेरा point ये है कि हम जैसे अभी जो यहाँ पर हम लोग mostly जो youth connected हैं, वो हम लोग थोड़ा socially active हैं. That's why we are so much connected. So हमारी एक ये responsibility भी ये भी है कि हम जो लाइक पैराडॉक्स है या फिर मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीजें जो अभी बहुत ज्यादा मतलब ऐसे लोग फेसबुक या इंस्टा कहीं भी एक्टिव ज्यादा हो गए हैं जो कि बहुत ज्यादा हेट फैलाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. तो एज अ हम लोग जो हम लोग हमारी सोच जिसकी अच्छी है तो हम लोग उनके मतलब अगेंस्ट नहीं, हम लोग मतलब ये कर सकते हैं कि हम लोग करेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन पास करने में हेल्प कर सकते हैं. और हम लोग सोशली एक्टिव हैं तो उसके लिए हमारी ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी बनती है कि हम लोग ये चीज करें कि हमारे बीच में हेट ना फैले.
जी, वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट यस अराउंड हियर. रुफैदा, मैं पहले आपके पास आती हूँ क्योंकि आपकी आवाज नहीं सुन पाए हम, और फिर समर्थ और फिर मीनाक्षी बिफोर समर्थ.
Hi everyone. So I told you about like speaking out for effective and equitable care. So before treating the like we are treating the patients also, and there are young doctors around us. So as we know, there are limited resources and we have unlimited wants. So we should emphasize on the personal protective equipments, and we should also and they can also increase increase the testing capacity. And like I went out and when I talked to the vegetable vendors, I saw that how people are facing and their problems are not being heard by anyone. So these are some of the issues. Like we are at our home, so we don't know what people are facing around us. Young people can be the source, or young doctors can be the source. We can know about them and we can know about their problems.
Right. Yes. Thanks so much, Rufeda. मीनाक्षी, आप कुछ, sorry, Samarth. I first said Samarth, go ahead, and then Meenakshi.
I just have two very small points. The first one is regarding the youth. So we spoke about how youth are taking part with the government in several activities and vice versa. But there's one point which I feel that how youth should train themselves in order to deal with the situation better. Because this pandemic is occurring for the very first time, and God forbid if it occurs again. And if we are prepared and if we have conditioned ourselves in a better way, we can probably deal with it nicely if it occurs again and in a more effective way.
Right. Thanks so much. Important point. Meenakshi, your point, and then I'll just sum up also taking into account some of the points that have come up in chat. So just go ahead, Meenakshi.
Yeah. So I think when we are talking about youth holding the whole, I think that's the second step. I think the first step is, do they even know that they have to, or do they even know that they can? Like, historically, young people have come out and done a lot of work, whether we talk about pre-independence era or the JP movement or most recently AAP. But at this point, like, I don't see a lot of young people who are not, I'm not talking about the young people who are already volunteering with NGOs, but like the non-NGO or young people sitting on the fences, I don't see them coming out, engage and contribute. So I think in that area, people like us who are working with young people, our responsibility becomes much more important. I just wanted to add that.
Right. Thanks, Meenakshi. thanks, Saudamni. I can see you raise your hand. Is it a very quick point that we can do in say 30-35 seconds? You're on mute, so I can't hear you at all.
Just one thing that I think we should look at. I mean, not that there's a silver lining to any of this, but the pandemic is an opportunity to engage young people, because relief effort is actually a very tangible way to contribute. And the little bit that I've been involved in relief effort in Delhi, it is the young people from private universities who've gotten together, who have logistics in hand. And we shouldn't forget that everyone has a skill or thing that comes in handy when we want to do relief effort. So
right. Thanks. I actually just wanted to bring up a point that Vinay has made, and I think it's an important one. And he said that, for young people to not lose hope, and also to not, so I think that's really, and all the points that have come up in terms of young people playing a role, taking on their responsibilities as volunteers, and just what Saudamni just said, upskilling, like Samarth said, to be able to hold the whole, to be able to play a role in pandemics such as these, in any crisis actually that the communities face. So many of those ideas, and I think very critical to that is not losing hope. And I think a nice point in terms of holding the whole that has come up is to also not necessarily be aggressive and constantly blaming the government, but really to find ways in which we can work together, we take ownership for it, but also find our foot in the door and make our voices heard. I think that's what I'm gathering from what has come up. Thank you so much. I want to just hand over to Shankar to maybe sum up quickly what came up in the previous one, and we'll then take a look at the Padlets. Many of you have inputted there. Thanks for that. Before we go into the breakout room and then hear from the others and our summary as well. Thanks. Shankar.
Yeah, so I think most of it you'll hear in the Padlets and in the deck that we're going to put up. But I just want to looking at some 3 or 4 key
Shankar, can you please hold the mic closer?
2 or 3, a couple of key recommendations that we've all agreed that we need to make to this Chief Minister who's asking us for advice. I think the first thing is, and this is not in any order, it's more in the order in which it came perhaps, basically transparency in communication. Treat us like informed citizens and not like coerced subjects. I think that is the term somebody used. So make people more aware and treat us in an adult way so that we know what's going on, what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing, and so on and so forth. So that's just one very key point that came up. The second point was on looking at and decentralizing the way the response has to happen. Because clearly it cannot be Delhi-centric, it cannot be one size fits all. So it has to be something that is contextual, so it has to be supportive in a manner that supports what happens at the state rather than it being a diktat to the state. So that was the second set of comments, and many things within that. A lot more consulting with stakeholders and all that was implied into that. Third, of course, was a greater investment in public health and public education so that it becomes a public issue. This is perhaps an opportunity to make that change happen. It's not something that can happen just by the states themselves. Center also has to play a role, but that was another thread that came about, saying that if you do that, then at least there's greater faith in the public system, and then people look at governments in a more trusting sort of way. I think the fourth was trying to address old biases that come out and get surfaced by this. Fault lines usually come out during a crisis. So any fault lines like biases against certain religious categories, against certain regional categories of people, the Chief Minister must address this and must make sure that such things do not happen. And finally, I think the point was made on youth-centric approaches and policies. Again, not necessarily taking youth as one homogeneous bunch of people, but understanding that young people have a different stake in this, they have a different agency. And so any social protection measures need to keep into account the peculiarities and the specificities that young people face. And that needs to be part of the way a response happens. So these were some of the few points that the other one I think was on the whole issue of migrants when they return back, in terms of how one needs to, there needs to be a transparent and humanistic policy by which they are addressed when they come back home, after many of them after long trudges to very dangerous circumstances. So these were some of the points I think that came out. I don't know whether I missed anything, Kanika, that you may have noted, so please add.
No, I think you've captured it, Shankar. We have 9 seconds to go. So the Padlet link is there. You can view the Padlet on your own as well. I thought we could try and see it all together, but everyone can see the Padlet. There have been some really important points there, which we've tried to capture in our presentation that we'll have in the larger group. So thanks everyone. Thank you very much for this very engaged conversation. And if you do on the Padlet also, if you can leave your email IDs and contact details so that we can connect with you and continue these conversations in other ways. But really grateful. Thank you, Shankar, and thanks everyone here for really I think building on something really.
Okay, just waiting for maybe 2-3 minutes more for some people to return to the main room.
Everyone is back. He's saying everyone is back.
So we have about the last 15-20 minutes. Stay with us. There's a nice, lovely send-off, a surprise send-off, and some nice stories I want to tell just after this, and a little exercise that we'll ask you to do. But first, the rooms. So I know I was in one of them. Wonderful, really lovely discussions, and yeah, it was like a cook-up. We were all like cooks in a kitchen. So many ingredients being thrown in, so much coming together, and I loved the chats, Padlet, as well as audio, everything going together. So it was wonderful and felt really energizing. I'm sure it did for all of you. I'd like the room hosts, and I'll ask Shoini, Shankar, and Avinash to just sum up. Of course, show us the recommendations, a little bit, the slides, etc. But also from your own experience and your own being a part of that room, what did it feel like? What was the discussion like? And what are the things you are taking away? The few important things that you feel are some things that are like calls for action almost out of all the recommendations that are coming out for you. So love to hear a call of action as well from the three of you. So let's start with, and I'm only asking these three because we also have, of course, the co-host, but because the time, we'll get about 3 to 4 minutes. So we'll just hear one person from that room, one host from that room. Let's begin with, I've heard a lot of Shoini because I was in that room. So I'll take her last. Let's begin with Avinash. Avinash, would you like to just tell us how did your room go? And a few points, if somebody can put up the slide from Avinash's room.
Thanks, Arjun. Yes, pretty decent participation, I must say, and a lot of questions, answers, a lot of concerns raised about what's happening around us, and from both. And what was interesting was, while there's a predominantly on the first aspect, for example, on the first question which we had about guidelines for states and what should states be doing around, what came out very interestingly, of course, predominant focus was around agriculture and revival of rural lives, so to speak, and in that context, rural livelihoods. How are they interlinked, especially in a context when a lot of migrants are actually going back to their homes? And the huge amount of discussion happened around not simply about actually reviving agriculture so that there's a greater stake for those who are going back or those who are already there, but also diversification of rural livelihoods, about questions around a further skilling of rural entrepreneurs, which is more experiential rather than theoretical or at macro level. What was also very important was actually that how do we bring out, and this was a critical recommendation, that there's a large sector of rural entrepreneurs is actually informal, and they don't have access to credits, banks, all those things, and forget about even decent skilling and so on. How do we bring them under a kind of a formal setup? Because as we know, data also tells us the same story. 99% of them are in that. On one of the other things which was very important was, of course, with concern about the recent changes in the labor laws, and there was a larger concern, of course, concern that these labor laws need to be reviewed, especially proposed reform, and they need to be pulled back if possible, because they are obviously going to further make wage earners and laborers further vulnerable. One of the other point on this was also, and which was very interesting point, which was brought in by another speaker, was that in the middle of all this, we are forgetting the whole lot of a lot of children who are coming back or who are already there with their parents in the many of these places who don't have access to Zooms and online phones and services. What about their education? What was their means of actually engagement, which is going to be actually in a stasis for long? Schools have been converted into quarantines and so on, and centers and so on. What about them? And how do we actually make sure that that also comes on that? On the youth, a lot of focus was primarily about how do we re-engage them, especially looking at their energy, which has been very, very visible in the last few months in terms of relief. In the last few months, actually, not just during COVID, which is again shown itself, but even before, somebody talked about how in Bihar floods they acted, during CA and RC protests, or during COVID, that all over it's the youth which is primarily leading the relief, rehabilitation, relief action work. How do we actually give them a sense of collectivization, one, and give them a formal sense of the fact that they've got a voice even at the local level, not necessarily only at the national level, while they're showing this much of energy? How is that we recognize their leadership? So I think that's a very important point which came up. What also came up was that how do we in that process then we collectivize them and bring this collectivization which has already happened through smaller networks in some ways. How do we make sure that this energy is not dissipated but converted to something where they can also convert themselves into more constructive upskilling of their own energy, with which they can move into entrepreneur-based action in the future? I'll stop here.
Okay, wonderful. Again, lovely discussions. Loved it. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Shankar if you could wrap up your room.
Yeah, sure. So we had a good bunch of people in the room. We struggled a bit in getting people to put their hands up because I think that the technology was sometimes getting a bit complicated, but we succeeded finally, and we got a lot of inputs coming. The Padlet was kept very busy, as was the chats, and I think Kanika and I kept having to keep one eye on the what was happening in the chat, so that we could bring that into the main discussion, and also invite people who were on the chat to bring us into the main discussion. So very lively discussion. So some of the points, the deck is out there. So I think it's captured most of the points that we were trying to make. First was obviously the focus on transparency. I think people understood this paradox, and the way to deal with the paradox, they said, is that you got to. I mean, the chief minister has to be more transparent to all of us. We are not. I mean, treat us like adults. Treat us like irresponsible, informed citizens, rather than somebody who you just have to throw stuff at and we just have to listen. So that was very much part of what everybody felt. The second one was, of course, trying to say that the center and the state need to tango together. This is not a competition. This is not a blame game. It's about how we work together. Recognizing fully well that one size cannot fit all. So how do we make that dance happen? And basically urging the chief minister that you need to make the dance happen. Otherwise, this is just not going to work. And similarly, you need to take that within the state to the other stakeholders and go through that whole process of discussion and try and engage so that you come to a more informed way of how we want to respond. The third point was on public health, because I think the whole question was when the paradox was sort of articulated as democratic rights and public health. The first question that came to everyone's mind is, what is this public health we're talking about? Because that is in such shambles. So this whole discussion would become more real if you really actually had public health. You had a public health institution that was working, that was functional, that could actually respond. Because if you take away the democratic rights and then don't have a public health system, then what are you left with? So, cannot compromise on public health, on public education. So a lot more investment needs to happen in that. So that was the third point that was being made. The fourth point that was made was on young people. I'm not necessarily going in the order, but for young people, I think this came out quite strongly, saying that you need to treat young people and recognize their agency. None of the announcements are actually addressing young people, and young people have different identities. So this needs to be part of how you're going to respond as a state to this COVID issue. Then, of course, migrants was talked about. It is the big issue, and I think there was concern expressed that when migrants go back, they are actually nowhere people, right? So the cities, they live in horrible conditions in the cities. They want to go back. How does the state, when Chief Minister, when these migrants come to your state, how are we going to treat them? You need to treat them with compassion. You need to treat them with transparency. Everybody needs to know how you're going to be, what's going to happen to them when they come back. So a lot more of openness in terms of how you're going to deal with migrants. That needs to be very clear. And then, of course, the basic human rights issues, because a lot of fault lines gets exposed in any form of crisis, including this one.
One moment, Shankar. Yeah, Shatra, if you could, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Shankar. Go ahead, Shankar.
Shankar, you're on mute. Huh?
No, I'm not actually on mute. But
No,
anyway,
yeah.
No. I was muted by the host. So, yeah. So the last point was basically looking at everything from a human rights lens. Fault lines that come out, fault lines that exist, that get wider during a crisis, whether it's biases against certain people of certain religious pursuits, certain regions, all these need to get addressed. And the state has to actually take ownership and address this and make sure that these fault lines do not appear in their address. So I think these were broadly the 5 or 6 points that sort of came out from our discussion. Kanika, you want to add anything specific on the young people, please?
No, Shankar, I think you've covered part of it. I think we're short of time and it's here. So we'll also share the PPT with everyone.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Right. Thanks so much, Shankar and Kanika. Lovely. Great. I'm going to quickly ask to get prepared everybody to share the Padlets, because that also gives a feel of how much actually the participation was. So from every room, we'll just be sharing the Padlets, all 3 one by one, just to get a feel, right? Not now. The third group was Shohini and Kejal, the co-hosting. Again, a great, at least I was part of that. So wonderful discussion. Shohini, if you could do a wrap for that room.
So we had good participation, you know, about 13 people spoke, and then some people spoke, you know, more than once. So very rich discussion. There were a lot of, you know, points which came up. I'm probably not going to read all of this, but, you know, some of the main ones, you know, one of the things was that the information on public health, you know, the narrative is that of a public health, but we are not seeing information on public health and what is happening on the health factor of COVID-19 come to us more. So we need more information on that, more testing, all of those kind of things, and demystification of all of those kind of things. The Arogya Setu app was something that we talked about. We said, you know, look, this is an app which the government has mandated. Now the government needs to ensure and, you know, kind of quieten our voices, you know, saying that, please, this is, you know, this ensures your privacy. And also tell us about what happens when people do not have access to smartphones. How are you going to use the Arogya Setu app then? You know, so these are some of the directives that the government needs to tell us. There's also a paradox of between, you know, what is the, you know, it's not all cooking lessons and learning skills on the social media, right? There's a lot of mental health, a lot of domestic violence and other issues connected to the pandemic. How is directives on that being included in the government directives on pandemic? We are being asked to, you know, social distance ourselves, wear masks, cover your mouth while you're speaking, but what are the other kind of things that the government needs to tell us about the pandemic, which is the reality, you know. Children became a real important point of conversation, and especially also children who are migrant workers. You know, there's no visibility of children as migrant workers in this whole conversation around migrant workers, and also other issues with children in terms of social media, you know, use digital, but you know, what is the harmful effect of that, regular access to girls for internet in the rural areas, what are they being allowed to allowed usage of that for. These were some of the directives that came for the guidelines to the government. When it came to the youth, one of the, you know, very rich discussion we had, and we've had that in the last webinar also, is the whole paradox between fake news and reality, you know. So and I think somebody made a very interesting comment that this is not just for young people, this is for everybody, is to just check the veracity of the fake news, check the origin before you know, give it away to 1,000 people on your WhatsApp list, you know. Check the veracity, check what is it, and let's let the youth not be the vehicle for spreading fake news. Yeah. Also, the capacity of young people to ask questions around the ecosystem around them, you know, the right questions. What, you know, so there are lots of, you know, economic stuff going on. There are working from home directives being given, all sorts of things going on. How do we develop the ability of young people to ask the right questions at the right time? Somebody said the Nehru Yuva Kendras needs revival. I think everybody wants to kind of see that the youth institutions around youth needs to be talked about, needs to be visible, and there needs to be some conversation around how do we see them in future. I'll stop here. Kajal, if there are anything that I think you know, there's any important point that I've missed, request you to kind of, you know, remind us of that again. Thank you so much.
So yeah, we can have Arjun continue with short on time.
Yes, great, thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, I think you wanted to show the Padlets. If you could just quickly show the Padlets, and I will continue talking meanwhile, because just to show the richness of the discussion that went on in different rooms. I don't think we'll have time to go to all the points that came up, but they were all wonderful, beautiful points. I'm going to also ask whether we can stretch this. I hope everybody can stretch this for 2-3 minutes past our 1 o'clock deadline, because there's something interesting we want to do, and it might take us beyond the 10 minutes that I have. And I hope I can ask people to hang before lunch for 2-3 minutes extra beyond. Right, so these are the 3 Padlets, these are the rooms, this is what people have been saying. Now I just want to take us back to, you know, what we started with. We started with the idea of holding the whole. There are paradoxes. How will we hold the whole? Holding the whole. Let me talk about the first thing that we spoke about. We spoke about, if you remember, and if you can put up that slide, is that, you know, we put up some end notes in a sense. The first thing is this doubting of the single story, that we must be hopeful skeptics. We don't have to, we're not questioning people, but we can ask questions of things. So I think asking questions, doubting, there's too much surety in the world today. There's too much surety in the world today. Everybody seems to say, oh, this is it, now let's go with this. And if you saw even in the Mentimeter, the first question we asked, yes, no, uncertain. We had a lot of yes, no's, less no's, but a lot of yeses, very few uncertainties. So we think in an urgent scenario, we just need either the black or the white, but can we be looking at the zebra truth, the black and the white? So doubting the single story, very important. Looking for what's not in the plot. You know, there's always something or the other missing. We have, let's say, you know, there was this farmer who is buying very expensive seeds for the farms around him. He goes around buying expensive seeds, खरीद के वो बहुत पैसे देके खरीद के दूसरे लोगों को दे रहा है. वो दूसरे लोगों को seeds दे रहा है, तो वो लोग पूछते हैं कि मेरे को क्यों दे रहा है तू seed, इतने तेरे पास पैसे लगा के तूने मुझे क्यों दिया? Why are you giving that seed to me? I can't understand it. There's something not in the plot here. So that's the question we have to ask. Look for what's not in the plot. So think about it. Why does a farmer buy expensive seeds for his or her neighbors? Well, simply because when you are putting the farm around you has good crops and a good फसल निकल के उसकी फसल अच्छी आएगी, तो उससे जो आपकी फसल की पॉलिनेशन होगी, पॉलिनेशन विंड से होती है आसपास की फसल से, तो मेरा भी फसल ठीक हो जाएगा. My crop depends on all the crops of my neighbors around me. And now that's a great paradox. Self and people, self to society. How do we really get our this paradox of self to society, which is like a mother paradox, in fact, to be something we can live the whole. Now, so determining that opposing story within the main thing. The Constitution is here is a great help, because the Constitution has many different interpretations of many paradoxes that have come together, and then many cases that have come on the Constitution. So I do really urge every active citizen to look at the Constitution. One common story we have, which has very complex truth. It has a complex truth, not only subjective truths, not only normative truths, but all the cases come together, put together on the constitutional interpretations, are a wonderful place for active citizens to look and act on. Of course, what's really important also is you can't live two stories together. It's very difficult. You can't live two stories together. But think about this. Again, a mother of paradoxes. Think about the way we breathe. We breathe in oxygen. If the oxygen becomes too much, I can die. So I have to breathe it out, and that comes out as carbon dioxide. So inhale, exhale is one of the fantastic examples of paradoxes that I've learned. That you have to do both, but in quick succession. You have to remember I'm doing this, but I have to remember in my mind that I'm going to just be exhaling now. Also, finally, in case you've picked up the one end of the stick, then you have to know, by chance you had to pick up one end of the stick like we did in the lockdown, where we did have to lock down for lives for some reason anyway, we did. But we know that the other will come with it. That means he'll come and hit me at the back sometime or the other. You can't expect that, अच्छा मैंने एक कहानी पकड़ ली तो दूसरी कहानी का अपने आप घूम जाएगी, वो कहीं नहीं घूमेगी. वो आपको आके सर पे मारेगी पीछे से दूसरी साइड से. और वो हमें अभी हो रहा है जब हम देख रहे हैं कि ये livelihoods का जब सिनेरियो आ रहा है और इकोनॉमी का सिनेरियो आ रहा है. Okay, so just some quick takeaways for us on the idea of paradoxes as a whole, because it's not only about these three paradoxes. Paradoxes are lived at every point. The most important, as we said, in these times has been, we can put the slide away now. The most important thing I feel at this time has been that we have all had great psychosocial shifts. And psychosocial shifts मतलब कि दिमागी मानसिक जो shifts हैं और जो समाज में shift हैं, बहुत सारी चीजें अपने आप ही shift हो गई हैं. हमको समझ में नहीं आया कि कैसे shift हुई. बहुत जल्दी सब कुछ shift हुआ है. और वो shift को हमें अगर रखना है, if you want to keep the change, then, as Meenu Venkateshwaran, my friend, tells me always, that we have to reflect on it. We have to reflect for a moment on it. So I'd like you to reflect right now on some of the shifts that have happened in your life and the paradoxes that we face. For example, a personal paradox, and I'm thinking more personal here because we've just done the social. Personal paradox that I have lived during this time, and it's interesting, and my daughter actually is not on the screen but is sitting next to me just for this. But I'd like to say that when my daughter, and her screen usage, one of the things we've talked about in Narratives for Reality, the screen usage of young people who have access. And how do I control that? Much. So this paradox for me, this controlling and letting go, has been an interesting paradox that I have been grappling with. One of the ways I've tried to hold the whole is that I've also started to talk about, let's make a constitution for the family where you have some rights, I also have some rights. And then together we can have a family constitution which allows us both to live the paradox better. So can you reflect for a minute on your paradox that you would like to live and stay with it, that you've managed in these times to do a good job of holding the whole? A personal paradox like mine of controlling and letting go. Yeah, we can have some little music at the back. Especially because we're going to finish with some music. So let's have some little music at the back. Who? She doesn't have to. Just tell me. Okay, and if you could just quickly put some of these down as it's coming up, just the paradox. Roughly. Put it down on your chats, please. Very softly, actually. Loud.
जिंदगी बीता तो पल जो ये जाने वाला है आने वाला पल जाने वाला है जिंदगी.
So yeah, if anything, that if you can just keep reflecting and take this away for yourself to think. I'm sure it just began thinking about it, but we aren't going to take too much time on this, that we have our closures. Now, there was one suggestion from people that we'd like to have your feedback. So I would like to, and just after that we'll have the closure, but just quickly, there is a feedback section which is on your chat, I think. The feedback is going to be given on, on the Padlet. So don't just put it in the chat. If you can put it, I think people are putting things on their chat, but also if you could just put it on the Padlet for us, simple, what has worked, what has not worked. We can take this away. If you could just click on the Padlet, and lots of people are also putting their paradoxes here. That's great. We can also just quickly have some feedback. We'll give 2 minutes. And Nakshit, if you could softly put some music, softly. The feedback is up here. Fake? Oh. We'd like to take your recommendations into our Vartalip conversation. Vartalip, as you know, is, as I started, a cross-sectoral coalition which is trying to make every youth a Jagrik and every space a Jagrik happen. And we'd love all of you to join us. And please keep putting your feedback here. Thanks so much. Your feedback will be very helpful. We are doing this the second time, and we're going to hope that these are events that we can host more of. The Vartalip Coalition feedback would be really welcome. Please keep putting some feedback there. So a few coming in. Anybody else, including hosts, co-hosts, everybody can just give us. We'd love. There are still about almost 100 people here. At least 50 feedback lines would be great. Feedback lines, just single 1 or 2 lines would be lovely. And also give us some kind of validation, as well as it'll give us some recommendations and other things we can take to other places as well. Stay for the last send off. Yeah. Okay. Before we do a final closure, a formal closure, there's a closing note on the Charcha 2020 that is happening after this. So please join there. After this 1.5, please join the closing address, and we have the people who are going to be there. Rohini is going to be there. Rohini Nilekani, Ashish Dhawan, Sanjay Pugalia from Quint. All these people would be talking there. Some renowned change makers. So please join us there as well. Yeah. And now we have an interesting send-off. We've been looking, for a song that can tell us about paradoxes. I'd like everybody to their videos on and unmute their audios. If you could all just unmute your audio. Mute your videos and videos, everybody together, all of us.
Wow, very nice.
Together now. To do something. The song is.
हमें मुझे वीडियो ऑन करना है, हाँ, तो थोड़ा सा वहीं रहना का मीटिंग में.
नहीं, मेरी बात वीडियो ऑन करें, पर अभी बोले मत. उसने किया आपको. Okay, so I think we have to just 1 minute hold on with me. The song is called आने वाला कल जाने वाला है. आने वाला पल जाने वाला है. इस पल में जिंदगी बिता लो जो आने वाला है, जो जाने वाला है. तो इट्स लाइक अ पैराडॉक्स सॉन्ग. आने वाला भी है, जाने वाला भी है. इस पल में पूरी जिंदगी बिता लो. Thank you very much for coming. Let's sing along for another 5 minutes. We cooked up something. We'll take it for lunch. But could you put the song on, Akshit? Do it with the karaoke with Kishore Kumar, please. Try and be as much as we can in tune. Can you put off all the? Can you put the? Unmute the videos, please. Unmute the audience. Unmute everybody. Click on, unmute everybody. Hello. Everybody.
Unmute on the song.
Song को क्या हुआ यार?
हम सब गा सकते हैं साथ में. Doesn't matter क्या क्यों
मेला
Thank you guys so much. Bye.